Hey guys, it's Matthew Allison from the Saints here, and welcome to another episode of Where Do We Begin? On this week's episode, I had the pleasure of having a chat to Harps and Lockie about all things footy and life. Stay tuned and hopefully you enjoy the episode. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for that, Matt, and hello and welcome to a brand new Class of 2020 episode of Where Do We Begin? My name is Harper, my co-host on this lovely evening goes by the name of Lockie. How are you, Lockie?
I'm good, mate, and I'm just super excited to speak to Matt. I don't know who's excited, me, you, or Yoshi, our number one Saints supporter.
Yeah, of course, big shout out to the big Yosh Meister, but should we just get straight into it?
Let's dive in.
Okay, and this Class of 2020 guest, it's a really good one. He's come out of the Calder Cannon. He's born on the 29th of January 2002. He's a key forward, 194 centimetres and 81 kilos, I believe, and pick 26, the last pick of the first round, actually gone to the Saints, number 30 for the Saints, and of course, he might have played against me in under-12s EDFL. I'm delighted to welcome onto the show Matthew Allison. How are you, Matt?
Yeah, going well. Thanks, boys. Thanks for having me on. It's good to have a chat. Good to be here. So appreciate the message.
No, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on, and I can sense the tension between you guys, under-12 rivals. I'm sure Harper would have taken you back in his under-12 days in those fierce contests. Now, yeah, Matt, when you're not surveying the local coffee and cafe areas, because I know you're massive on your coffee, you're obviously playing football, and you come from great football stocks, I believe. Can you tell us a little bit about your football history and your family?
I'll just touch on briefly what you said about Harps. I think Harps would have given me a bath back in the 12 days. So,
mate,
I reckon,
I played like 40 games and didn't kick a goal. I'll probably
have to thank Harps for where I am today because, it wasn't great in the under-12s. But, yeah, got a really good footy pedigree, family boys, which is it's definitely helped me a lot. So, my dad played for Coburg in the VFA, so it was a bit unlucky to miss out. To get to AFL. It was VFL back then, and he was playing at Essendon reserves, but unfortunately, didn't quite make it. So he went on and had a pretty good career at Coburg, a couple of flags and team of the century. Yeah, so he was a pretty good player. A bit different to me. He was a ruck rover, so he's a bit smaller than me. So luckily I got the height from my mum's side. Otherwise, I would have been a bit like Dad. But yeah, I've also my dad's first cousin, Brett Allison, played for North Melbourne in the 90s. I played about 260 odd games, a couple of flags. Play under Wayne Carey's feet, so he likes to bring that up a fair bit. Play at the Duck, and my uncle as well. My mum's brother Mark played for Richmond. Only played the 3 senior games, but he was a ruckman, so that's where I get the height from, which is nice. But it's good. A lot of footy pedigree, which is good. So
yeah, do you feel the pressure at all from that, or do you just kind of take it in your stride and just shrug it off?
No, not really, to be honest. Look, there's, all my family's really supportive, and they just want me to play the game for the love of it. And to be honest, I don't feel any pressure. It's just great to have great support around me and people who have been in the industry as well that can sort of lean on and who I can lean on and get advice from. So, not too much pressure, which is good. So.
Yeah, mate, that's unreal. And obviously 2020 was a year like no other for so many people. And you finished your year 12 in 2019, which obviously would have been an awesome thing for you because you didn't have to worry about heading into your draft year. But then suddenly footy's cancelled. So what did you do to fill in the time last year without school and without footy?
Yeah, I was really excited for 2020. It's been a year that I've been looking forward to for a while. And unfortunately, it didn't go to plan with not getting any, other than 2 trial games. It was really disappointing. But luckily for me, I was doing a uni degree. So I was studying a Bachelor of Business Sports Management just at Victoria Uni. So that kept me pretty busy throughout COVID. Played a fair bit of PlayStation. It was a good way to sort of connect with mates. And Zoom was getting a good workout as well, speaking to family and friends, but I just tried to keep as active as possible. I felt that was really good for mental well-being and helped me stay quite healthy physically and mentally as well. So, but the uni was definitely kept me busy, so it was good.
That's awesome, mate. And I know you only played 2 trial games in 2020, but you probably had more kicks in those 2 trial games than Harper and I have had for 5 years. So you've still done better than us, mate. Don't worry about that. But that's awesome that you've got that.
You're being too harsh on yourself, boys.
You haven't seen us kick a footy.
Yeah.
No, you've been too harsh. You've been too harsh.
I was just going to say, so with your uni degree doing sports management, do you have any sort of way that you want to pursue that down the line? Is there any
to be honest,
interest?
I'm still not 100% sure what I want to do with it. I suppose with having the double degree, it sort of opens up a lot of variety for me. So my mum's in human resources, and sort of that's something that interests me quite a bit. She usually talks about it with me a fair bit about what it's like, and basically what she's doing within that role. And that somewhat interests me. Sports administration interests me as well. But still not 100% sure what I want to do with it. But like I said, having the double degree just opens up the options. So hopefully after a long footy career, touch wood, I can worry about that sort of in future years. But not too sure, boys, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, of course, getting drafted last year and playing no footy in the year, and I'm pretty sure in the months leading up to the draft, not many people were predicting you'd be taken in the first round. What were you worried about the effects on your development because of obviously the year off, or because there was probably less pressure on you for being like touted as a top 10 pick or whatever? Did you not feel it as much?
No, I was definitely thinking about it quite a lot, and my bottom age year was quite average. I felt I was really looking to 2020 as having a really solid year, and as I said, I implemented some goals at the start of the year that I wanted to pursue, and so when the season was cut short, I was really disappointed. I felt like I had a lot to offer on the field, and like I set myself up as well. I had a solid preseason going into 2020 and felt physically really, really good. So it did play my mind a fair bit, if I'm being honest. And luckily for me, things worked out, and just so grateful that the Saints have shown the faith in me to get an opportunity. And I'm just keen to really repay the faith that they showed in me. So very grateful.
Yeah, mate, 26th pick is an absolutely unbelievable effort. And so you've made the trek now down to Moorabbin, 40 minutes drive, as you were saying off air. What was that like, your first day at an Afl Club? How were you feeling? Nervous? Was it exactly what you expected? Take us through it.
Yeah, it was. So I actually went to the club the day after I was drafted. So I didn't go into train or anything. It was just sort of have a bit of a tour around the club, meet the coaches, meet some of the players. So that was a really good experience. That everyone was just so welcoming, and just showed the culture at the club. It's a special and unique culture, and they just welcome you with open arms, and it's made the transition so easy. But I started so that was the Thursday, and then I started training on the Monday. Yeah, I was quite nervous for that first training session, actually. I actually sprayed a few kicks because I was just that nervous. It was just crazy. Like, you're kicking the footy with the likes of, Hanbury and Max King and a few of those guys. And it's crazy. You just sort of pinch yourself. But I settled down a little bit. I had to take it easy because I was just going flat out too early, and I actually cooked myself. So, but I think the emotions were just, I was a bit nervous, but just so excited and just really eager to get into things. So, but it was a crazy first day, that's for sure.
Right, nothing worse than your nerves. You got sweaty palms. The ball starts slipping when you kick and you try to mark, and then you drop just the easy one. You're like, oh my God, what's happened here?
Yeah, I know. It wasn't a great feeling, boys, but I got into it in the end, which was good. So,
like a couple of days before rocking up to the club for the first time, did you have any idea that it was going to be the Saints you were going to? Like, did they show really super keen interest in you, or were they just kind of like every other club?
To be honest, I was sort of like every other club. Like, I sort of, throughout the whole process before the draft, I sort of, I just stuck to the mentality that there was just no guarantees. And especially from my point of view and a Victorian point of view, not playing at all, it was going to make it even more difficult. So, I always had hope that maybe an opportunity would arise. But, as I said, just went in with no guarantees, and it probably made it even more of a surprise when it happened. The Saints had some interest, but to the level of their interest, I wasn't sure. There were a couple of clubs there that I thought potentially may have taken me, but I just didn't want to build this expectation that it was going to happen, because I would have, been really disappointed. And, I just wanted to go in with a surprise, and it was one of the best surprises ever when the Saints read out my name. So yeah, one of the best days of my life.
And as they say, the rest is history, mate. And hopefully you'll be wearing the number 30 for a long time in the mighty Saints colours. Now,
hopefully.
For those Saints fans listening at home and the rest in the AFL, tell us a little bit about the type of player that you are.
Yeah, so I probably play as a lead-up high half forward. Like to really use my running ability that way. I think that's probably one of my biggest strengths is my endurance. So like to work both ways, up and back, and try and be an option as well. Try and take some marks, and from there either try and impact the scoreboard or hit up a teammate. So I've had previously played on the wing as well, and I think the Saints are going to trial me in the future, hopefully down back as well. So, but yeah, feel most confident and feel like I'm able to have more of an impact as that high half forward.
I was going to ask about that because, like, looking at your stats, I think you were seventh in the 2K time trial or something like that. Sub 3 second 20 meter sprint. Like, you've got such a great running capacity. Is that something that you think makes you unique compared to the other prospects and other players at your height? And do you think that there is that potential? You've mentioned wing, but even midfield time in the future.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. I think my running ability hasn't come naturally. I've really had to work on it, and it's something, especially during COVID, that's basically all I was doing was running 3 times a week because that's all you could really do, and lift some weights here and there. But I suppose the 2020 class was a really unique class in the fact that there was a lot of athletic tools that were picked up. Like I think of someone like Nick Cox, who's about 200 centimetres and runs a ridiculous 2K time trial, something that we've probably never seen before. But I mean, I suppose you do have an advantage being a good runner, but I suppose it's what you do when you get the ball, and you've also got to try and find ways to get the ball as well. That'll make you a good player. So for me, I'm really working on my contest stuff at the moment. Hopefully get good at that down the track.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's football, not athletics.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
That's the primary thing you're working on there, or anything else that you've really been trying to grind and improve on in the few months that you've been at the club?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, coming in still quite a light frame. It's definitely been trying to put on some size. So I put on about 6 or 7 kilos actually since I've come into the club, which is, it's quite a lot in the space of 3 months. I think it's just from eating a lot as well. Like you basically lift some weights and they make you, have all this protein to put on the muscle, and I suppose there's things that you lose as well during the gym session. So, which has been good. So I'm about 87 now, which is all right. But yeah, really working on the contest stuff as well, because obviously a key position player, you got to be able to match it with the bigger bodies. So the strength and the contest stuff has definitely been the 2 things that I've been working this pre-season. So it's been good.
Yep, gee whiz, mate, plenty of muscle put on. You would have loved having that shirt off at the beach over summer, I'm sure. Now, I guess your adjustment to AFL, mate, what has been the biggest surprise for you? Like, what's something that you expected that didn't come to fruition compared to the reality of it? Or was there something that really surprised you of AFL life?
I think, for me, obviously it's a professional environment, but I suppose just the amount of time that you do get off, in pre-season. Like I thought, to be honest, that we'd be there from 8 o'clock till 4 in the afternoon, but they do give you a lot of time off. Some days where we're done by 12:30, which I didn't expect. I just thought it'd be full 6 hours a day or whatever. You just train, but you do get a lot of time off, for me, I think it's really beneficial because recovery is quite important, especially with the high intense training that you are doing. It's really important to get that recovery. So, I think just you do get a bit of freedom, which is great. So, quite surprising.
Yep, recovery down at St Kilda, Altona Beach, top off. Any excuse?
No, I don't have a rig, boys, so I can't get my top off, unfortunately.
Same here, mate.
I don't have a rig. Don't worry, boys. It's hard. I'm working on it.
That's really interesting you say that, though, because that's pretty much the exact opposite answer to what Denver Granger Barris said, the Hawthorn player. His episode came out on Monday, the same day we're recording this, because he was like, he was kind of just expecting to waltz in and be in there for 3 hours and be back out. But he was saying he's had like 10-hour days all the time. But St Kilda must have like a really different program to the Hawks, clearly.
Yeah, well, there you go. So me and Denver there have definitely got two different sort of ideas on it all. Yeah, I thought it'd be there, for at least 6-7 hours a day, but the Saints do it really well, I think. And speaking to a lot of the boys about it, they think it's really beneficial. And obviously the fitness staff and the coaches are pros at what they do. So I think everyone at the Saints really thinks it's beneficial. So. But yeah, it's interesting getting that perspective, isn't it? The two different clubs there. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you can just see all the St Kilda players how much they love Brett Radden, and it's obvious. You can see why he obviously really prioritises giving you guys a balance, as well as like having football, but then also having time away.
Absolutely, definitely.
Yeah. Clearly, and we want to talk a bit about this now. Of course, Brett Ratton is presumably a great mentor from the way you're speaking about him. But is there anyone else that has really taken you under their wing since you've come into the club and you've really received lots of tips from?
Yeah, I've been really fortunate, boys. I mean, I'm being really open here that the coaches, or the staff, and the whole playing group are just so welcoming and so good. Like, I just can't speak high enough of them. They're just the characters that the Saints have got are just unreal. So, I thank everyone for what they've done for me. A lot of people have made the transition so easy. But yeah, there's a few notable guys that have really stood out. I suppose playing as a forward, you spend a fair bit of time with the forwards group, and especially guys, a notable one for me is Shaunie Mckernan, who came across from Essendon last year. He's been huge for me. We did a fair bit of training together in the off season, and he's been like a big brother to me, to be honest. He's given me a lot of tips and advice, and he's just such a ripping bloke. I can't speak high enough of him. Yeah, Timmy Membry as well, sort of playing a similar role. He's been huge. And then a few of the young boys, like sort of the Hunter Clarks, Nick Caulfields, Jack Higgins, they're all ripping blokes. They all get around me. Look, the whole playing group, to be honest, I'm rolling off too many names here. The whole playing group have been huge. But yeah, I think, as I've mentioned, Membry and Shaunie Mac have been huge. So very fortunate.
Good to hear. Former Where Do We Begin alumni Hunter Clark is helping you out. First time I've heard him described as a ripping bloke. I just thought I'd get that one in there because he has nothing he can say back to me. He absolutely ripped into me when we recorded with him.
Yeah, he tends to. He likes to rip into me as well at times.
Oh, does he?
It's all good fun. No, we love Hans. He's a good man, Hansi.
Yeah, good to hear, and great podcasting guest too, just like yourself. But we've been asking all of our guests this same question. Of course, we're going to be chatting in about 6-7 months' time in postseason. What are your goals for the 2021 season between now and when we next speak to you?
Well, look, I'd love to potentially, hopefully, get an opportunity this year. That would be awesome to put on the Saints jumper for the first time. But obviously, there's a long way to go before that can happen. So, like I said off air, I think it most likely starting in the VFL. So, I really want to work on those areas of improvement that I touched on before. So that the contest stuff and the strength work. I want to make sure that that's down, that's on track, and making sure that I'm getting that down pat. But also, just want to be the best person I can be as well, be the best teammate, and just make sure I just leave no stone unturned. So make sure I get everything out of every training session and every game as well. Because, I think the COVID last year really made me not take anything for granted anymore, because it can be taken away from you so quickly. So, and just be consistent. I know it's pretty cliche, but just be really consistent as well. So hopefully it's a really good year.
Yeah, we'll be touching on those goals again once we record at the end of the season. I look forward to going back to them. And you've already ticked off one of your goals. Go on the biggest podcast in world sport. So tick that off.
That's a massive tick. Huge tick, boys. That's the biggest one.
Now here's our last question, and maybe our most important, your life philosophy. So is there any little quote or, I guess, thought that you sort of live your life by?
Yeah, good question. It's not really I don't know if you'd call it a quote or anything, but my grandpa actually told me this one. It's sort of actually made me think quite a bit actually about it. He said, "No one's perfect," and I know it's only 3 words, but made me think quite a bit that no one is perfect, no matter how privileged you are. you can have the best life ever. If you're not mentally and physically happy with yourself, then, life, you're just not living a great life, I don't think. So, that's one that's always stuck with me because, I don't know why. It's not really a quote or anything, but it's so true. Like, no one is perfect. There's going to be times where, we, crack it, we lose, get frustrated over something. We say something we don't mean. There's just going to be times like that where we have moments where we regret, but it's what you do. And I suppose it's what you do with, don't really know how to explain it, but I suppose it's how you prove that you're sorry or whatever for the mistakes you've made. So I've gone into a bit of detail there, boys, but it's just one that stuck with me for a while. No one's perfect.
Yeah, we love that, mate. And hopefully, we're looking forward to seeing how that philosophy kind of evolves and morphs into maybe something else or something broader or more specific for however many episodes we chat for. But yeah, that would be really good. But before we wrap up, we are going to blast through some quick questions that we've been asking all of our class of 2020 guests. So I'll kick us off with the first one. You've got 2 hours of spare time. What are you doing?
Probably catching up with mates or family, getting a nice skinny cappuccino at a cafe, I reckon, or going for a nice walk, I reckon. That's probably, that's how I like to spend, that's how I like to kick back. So that's, I reckon that's what I'll be doing, boys.
Beautiful skinny cappuccino. You'll have a good ring in no time, mate. Don't you worry about that. Now, the next one. What is your biggest personal strength? So away from football, what do you think is your own personal strength?
I think just how easy I'm able to get along with people. I'm a pretty confident person, so I don't find it too hard to go up and meet someone and have a chat. So, I think I'm pretty open and get along with people quite easily. So I think that's probably one of my biggest strengths on a character note.
Yeah. Now, something that's provided us with some interesting answers on the flip side of some of your biggest personal strengths. You were talking about no one's perfect before. So what do you think maybe your biggest weakness is, something that you're looking to improve in your personal life?
I'm not very good at giving constructive feedback to someone, especially someone who I've got a lot of love and care for. I find it quite difficult because all these sort of thoughts and worries sort of come in my head about, if I say something that's a bit out of line to someone, whether they'll, not have the respect for me anymore. So it's something that I'm really working on because especially being in a professional environment, giving constructive feedback is, it's only going to make your teammate or whoever a better person. So that's something I do struggle with, boys, is giving that constructive feedback to someone.
Yeah, 100%. I can add another personal strength, self-aware. You can tick that one off, mate, because that is a great answer. And now our last one is, what if you weren't a footballer, what would you be? What is your dream job?
Ooh, toughie. Good question. For me, I've just always loved footy. It's been footy. But I reckon, with my uni degree, I think I'd probably be doing something along those lines. So, like I mentioned before, the human resource side of things, or starting up my own business, sports administration, etc. I think something along those lines. I was a pretty keen cricketer back in the day, so I might have tried to pursue a career out of that if footy didn't work out. But, not sure how I'd go with that.
Batsman or bowler?
No, I was a bowler, more of your line and length bowler. Wasn't too quick, just try to hit the spot all the time. So, I love my cricket.
Yeah, love to hear that, mate. We all love our cricket, but we've got to wrap up there. It's been great chatting to you, mate. We're looking forward to speaking to you again and seeing how you've tracked over 2021 in 6 or 7 months' time. So, thanks very much for coming on, Matty Allison.
Thank you so much for having me, boys. It's been a pleasure and great to chat, and look forward to our chat in 6 or 7 months' time. Looking forward to it. It'll be good.
Thanks for that, Matt. If I see you having a skinny cappuccino, I'll be sure to say g'day.
Yep, of course. Great time having Matty Allison on. Thanks very much for coming on, mate. If you're listening to this, and I'd like to thank all of our listeners for tuning in once again to the show. Your support really means the world to us. Make sure you come back tomorrow for the next episode. And who's that, Lockie?
Oh, we got Max home. So you listeners, you're in for a treat. Cat's first pick, elite junior runner. Can't wait to have a chat with him.
Yeah. A little bonus one, actually. We were meant to have 4, but we've added a 5th. So tune in for that tomorrow. See you then, and thanks for listening.